Hello and welcome back to Hunters Lives Matter. Appreciate you stopping in to check out what we're doing today. For tonight's dinner, we are making venison chili. So any kind of venison chili though, it's Jack Daniel's venison chili. Yesterday, I took a front shoulder roast from a mule deer and I smoked it. I started by skinning it, by getting rid of the fat, any kind of silver skin, anything left over from butchering in the field. I seasoned it. I used salt, pepper, garlic base, and then a brisket rub to top that off. Once that was on there, I smoked it on the Traeger to about 140 degrees. So you don't want to come up to whatever eating temperature you would prefer. So let's say you like 150. Don't go to 150. Go to 135, 140. So I took this off about 135, 140. And then the rest of it's going to get cooked off today in our cast iron. Other than that, for the meat, I do have some Jack Daniel's pulled pork. We have some chopped up vegetables. So some jalapenos, some red peppers, green peppers, white onion, yellow pepper, bacon for our base. That's going to season the pan, get it nice and oily. So you shouldn't need too much oil, or any oil really. We have some smoked chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. That's some good heat right there. Got some petite diced tomatoes, some dark red kidney beans, beef broth, and some beef consomme. The consomme is there for thickening up our chili juice when we're cooking it. And then obviously I marinated the venison in Jack Daniel's and some Dr. Pepper. Give it a little bit of kick and some sweetness. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our pan ready to go, okay? So the pan's been on we're using the green egg tonight. I've got it going at around 4.25, 450. And you want to get that pan good and hot. So we're just going to cut the bacon in half. Makes it more manageable. You're going to be crushing this up later on. But for right now, should have picked my sharp knife. So for right now, we're just going to cut it in half, makes it more manageable to deal with later on. We're going to be crushing it, breaking it up and crumbling it, and then putting it back in the chili to finish it off. So we'll get that started right away. We've got our Dutch oven on there. Just throw the bacon. No right or wrong way to do it. Just kind of get them in there, get them spread out. Ooh, sparking tonight. It's icing out, so some of that precipitation might be going into the egg and causing those to flare up. But it's all right. It all adds to the outdoor cooking adventure. And we're not going to cook this all the way. We're going to cook it most of the way. But again, we're going to be adding it back in pretty shortly before the chili is done. We're adding that back into the chili before it's done. It's going to soften up. It's going to get the bacon flavors in there. It's going to be really good. I left some things here so I can show you how I did this. To cut up a onion into squares, because you want it to be squared. You don't want it diced too fine. So what I did was I took the knife, and this is kind of like if you want to think of a flower petal. This is a technique used to keep it all together. It's not falling all over your cooking board. You just go down the middle. See how I do that? Just go down the middle, go off to the side, and then go off to the side again, but not too far that you cut that last one off. Spin her around. Do the exact same thing on this side. Just bring that back down, and bring this side, of course, back down. You want to come down to about here or so, and you turn on the other side, and then you make another crisscross pattern over this way, going down the opposite way. So then what you're going to have are some squares. So when it comes time to cut them, again, we're looking for maybe a half inch wide. So we just go like so. Watch your fingers always. And you're going to have pretty decently, properly chopped onions. You can also put it on its edge like so. It should be good. Leave that there. And then to seed a pepper, a lot of times I like to kind of go around the inside of it. That's definitely one way of getting it cored out. Otherwise, you can just go next to the core a little ways. Just go straight down, back on its side, straight down, back on its side. Oopsie. Like so. And then on its side over here. And then you have the core with all the seeds ready for the garbage can. We're cooking outside, animals will eat this stuff. I do have a spoon here with serrated edges. This kind of helps you get in there, get anything else out of there that you don't want. Okay, once you're done with that, just kind of put them all. If you start cutting them on the skin side, sometimes, especially if you forget to hone your blade, like I apparently did today, it's just going to kind of push in. And it's going to make it a little bit harder. So if you start on the outside here, on the inside, I should say, just kind of go around. I don't like the thick parts. And then just square them up a little bit. All right, there we go. So, let's check our bacon quick. It's coming along nice. Just get in there with some tongs, just stir it up. You see all that bacon fat in there, it's reddening out. It's going to be good. When we put our vegetables in there, they'll cook in there and get all nice and happy. Lots of good flavor.
Gosh, it scared me.
Yeah, a little water. Like I said, we'll get some ice coming down right now.
I have red in my face, almost.
That's okay. So that's almost done. While we're waiting for that, I'll show you our venison. So that's about how much venison we have. Again, I've cubed it, and it's been marinating for about an hour in a Jack and Coke, Jack and Dr. Pepper concoction. Just I would say probably less than a shot, maybe a shot of Jack, and then just a splash of Dr. Pepper. Once we get our chili in the pot, we're going to come back and we're going to season it. Just some traditional chili seasonings here. We have our chili powder. We've got ground cumin. We have some paprika, some cayenne pepper, and some black pepper. I don't really measure it. I just kind of pour it over the top and mix it all in. Play around with it, see what you want. If you like it hotter, add more, obviously. If you like it less hot, don't use as much. I think probably 2 tablespoons of the cumin, probably a good place to start, because that can get the heat up, especially since we have the adobo pepper, these peppers and the jalapenos going in there, so there will definitely be some heat to our recipe today. All right, now that we have everything prepared here, we're just going to make one last check on our bacon. Our bacon looks good. So what makes it easy, just get a dish. Just dry off your bacon so you can see how it's cooked, but it's not, it's not burnt or anything like that. Just throw that in there. So now we can add our vegetables in. The onions are a little bit harder than the peppers, so I like to add those in first.
Make sure not to mix those.
Yeah, well, you can mix them. It's just get too soft in there and then they don't cook right. So so we'll just add some of the onions in.
Watch out for the sparks.
Just gonna get those happy for a moment, and then we will add in our green peppers, red peppers, and yellow peppers. We will reserve the jalapenos until later.
I don't know if I want to be as close, but okay. Little sparks like that.
After we've got those and they start to cook for a few moments, we will add our petite diced tomatoes. These do have green chilies in there, so a little extra flavor. So now that we're working on our tomatoes, one thing you want to do is just get that some of that juice out of it. Once you've got them drained, just stir up our vegetables here again. They're coming along nice, so we'll just dump these in. Kind of fold it all in together. Now that the vegetables are in there, we start adding some of our liquid. So I'm using a low sodium beef broth, and I'm not adding any salt as far as seasonings go, because we do have plenty of salt in the ingredients that we have. So I like to put the meat in first and then add the beef broth, so you know how much, kind of gauge how much you want in there. So we will throw this in first, and then we will add in our pulled pork. I've done this in the past where you have a chopped up meat and a pulled meat, and it's nice. It adds a little different consistency. It also helps add good volume as well. Just take the pulled pork out. Alright, so once you get your meat in here, you just start stirring it up, breaking it up a little bit. So once it's all in here, you just want to stir it up, get it mixed up really good. I'll throw in those peppers. Probably could have thrown those in really at any time, but that's okay. And now that we know how much of everything else, we'll add
Chicken broth.
beef broth. And we can always check this out later on as well. So if enough of it should cook out or absorbed into the meat, you can just go ahead and add a little bit more.
It's really cool how the charcoal looks with all the pink and blue in there.
Yeah, well, it's definitely hot. So we had it up to 425 and 450. And now also that we have it starting to cook, we can add in our seasonings. So, do our chili powder.
Wait, what one is this one?
This is cumin. Take some black pepper. A little paprika. And finally, just a little cayenne pepper.
Okay, what are you doing?
There we go. Put it all on there. Mix it up, kind of get it on some of the meat. It's all going to cook in really nice. It's already, the pork is starting to separate from itself and get nice and soft. It's going to be delicious.
That looks really good.
Well, hopefully it tastes good too.
Yep.
All right, so at this point now that we have it all in there, we'll just close it up. And we're going to let the heat come down. We just want it to be a simmer at this time. We're also going to take our bacon, bring that inside, let it continue to dry, and then we'll crush it up and bring it back out in the end. We're going to add in our kidney beans, and that should be it. You don't have to use kidney beans by any means. You can use pinto beans, you can use black beans, you can use
Any kind of beans?
yeah, any kind of bean that you want. You can be as excited about it as you want. One thing we did forget is our peppers, so we will throw those in as well. It's always something you forget to do. There you go. Those you want to make sure you spread out a bit because you don't want to bite into just one cooked in blob of adobo.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we've been rolling about 25 minutes here. Got a nice boil coming on here. Looks good. Let's come scrape up the bottom. Yeah, all the pulled pork that we added in separated. So that's really about where we want it. So probably give another 10 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll add the beans and the bacon. Let that cook in there for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll serve it up. All right, we've got about 20 minutes left on our cook here, so we're going to throw in our kidney beans. One thing that I always recommend that you do with these is drain the fluid out of them and rinse them off. So I drained both the cans of the bean juice. You don't want the bean juice in there. I mean, I suppose if you want it in there, you can keep it, but just drain it out, rinse them off, and pour them in there. You see how our bacon turned out? You know, just crisp pieces about like that size. So that's all you really need to do. Pour those in. Obviously, beans and all the ingredients here are optional. Whatever you prefer is what you can put in there. You can put in more, less, none. Doesn't make any difference. There's a raging debate in the chili community about bean or no bean. So, you know, this is a bean recipe. I enjoy chili with beans in it. So we're gonna let that cook for about 20 minutes, and then we'll be good to go. All right, we've been cooking for about an hour, just a little over an hour. I think we're good to go. That looks
Delicious.
yes. Also known as venison chili-licious.
You just made that up, didn't you?
No.
You did. And let's put them over here.
Okay. In the meantime, while everything was finishing up, we like to have our chili on a bed of noodles. So I made some elbow noodles. Unfortunately, we didn't have the small ones, so we're stuck with the big ones today. I don't have a spoon, so we'll go get a spoon. And just like that, we now have spoons, so we can eat. All right, I also grabbed some cheese. So before we dive in here, just to recap what took place. Yesterday, I had this idea to make Jack and Dr. Pepper venison chili. So I smoked a shoulder that I had. It was a front shoulder. It was probably about 3 pounds, 3 to 4, maybe about 4 pounds or so. They'll cook down, of course. Once you trim it up, you get less. Did that yesterday. Let that sit in the seasoning overnight. I marinated it in some Jack Daniel's whiskey and some Dr. Pepper for about an hour or so before we did the actual cook. We used some peppers, onions, jalapenos, smoked chipotles and adobo sauce. Seasoned everything once we got it in there. Well, we put some bacon in, of course. We cooked it in the bacon fat initially. That's what we used for our seasoning of the pot for all of our vegetables. We seasoned everything in the end with not in the end, but we seasoned everything with some cumin, chili powder, paprika, pepper, cayenne pepper. So a good blend of spices there. We let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we added in some dark red kidney beans. Again, you can use any kind of kidney beans you want. And we took the bacon out that we cooked earlier, and put that in with the beans for the last 20 or so minutes that it's been cooking here. And that looks really good. You can see how everything kind of melded, came together here. You can see the chunks of the venison in there with the pulled pork. That's venison right there. Venison.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's obviously the bacon. Yeah, this is a good combination of meat and vegetables. So, let's figure out how this tastes. I like to do it on a bed of noodles. I know my videographer really likes it on noodles as well.
Because I love noodles. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yep. Smells absolutely delicious. It's going to be interesting to see how much of that Jack Daniel's cooked out, or how much we can still taste.
I'm excited.
You don't need to be 21 to enjoy this recipe.
I think that's good, Dad.
Yeah, that's good. And we'll throw a little bit of cheese on there.
I'm coming right over here.
You can also put in some sour cream, some chopped onions. I like my chili simple, just the chili with some taco cheese on it.
Yeah, for our cheese, we like shredded, but you can use any kind of cheese that you like.
That's correct. Shredded is the better one, but you can absolutely use
Mozzarella,
whole slices.
any one of those.
You wouldn't want mozzarella. Like a Colby or a pepper jack would be good for chili.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right, so we give this a little bit of a mix.
Mm-hmm.
Nice piece of venison in there.
Wow, that is good.
That is definitely good.
Very
There's some
spicy.
heat. There's some spice to that. Absolutely.
I'm not a big fan of spice, though.
No. I want to get a little bit more of that venison.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can taste any flavors in there.
Yeah, I really like that. Oh, that's hot. Yours is very hot. It's gonna be
Yeah,
hot.
you can definitely. You cannot taste the jack, but you can definitely taste everything else.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a win. It's a good recipe. Give it a shot. If you have venison roast, any kind of roast, you can do this with any kind of meat that you want. I enjoyed chopping it up and smoking it the day before, letting it get happy in those seasonings overnight. But yeah, it's delicious. So I'm going to get it inside for the rest of the fam and then enjoy. So thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.